വ്യത്യസ്തമായ ഒരു കൈത്തൊഴിലിലൂടെ ഒരു ജനവിഭാഗത്തിനെ ഉയർത്തിക്കൊണ്ടുവന്ന മറ്റൊരു വ്യക്തിയാണ് അടുത്ത പ്രഭാഷണത്തിനായി എത്തുന്നത്.
അതെ, ചേക്കുട്ടി എന്ന് കേൾക്കുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ആദ്യം ഓർമ്മ വരുന്ന പേര് ലക്ഷ്മി മേനോനെ സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യാം.
Happiness comes as a result of our action. Here I quoted Sree Narayana Guru. Then what will happen if our actions made some other people happy? Yes, this is the success mantra of this young lady entrepreneur. She does think not only about her life but also about the life of the people needed. These stories come up from a small village in Kerala called Chendamangalam. I hope everyone understood who I am talking about. Yes, I am really proud and happy to invite Ms. Lakshmi Menon to this 88th Global Online Sivagiri THEERTHADANAM. Welcome you, ma'am.
That young entrepreneur who comes to mind with a single word, Chekuti. A woman who became an inspiration to the world by making significant contributions in the social field by raising money for the flood-affected people of Chedamangalam through a helping hand, Chekuti.in. She started Ammumathiri by holding hands with old mothers and also ensured the lives of the fishermen who led the operation during the time of floods. Personality with a creative presence even during lockdown period through making a new branded birds named Shaya and co-houses which are very much needed and helpful for COVID centers. Welcoming with great pride, honor and affection to the 88th Sivagiri THEERTHADANAM for the Conference of Handicrafts, the young vibrant Lakshmi Menon. Personality with a creative presence even during lockdown period through making a new branded beds named Shaya and co-houses which are very much needed and helpful for COVID centers. Welcoming with great pride, honor and affection to the 88th Sivagiri THEERTHADANAM for the Conference of Handicrafts, the young vibrant Lakshmi Menon.
Ma'am, initially we can talk about yourself, like your native, your academic background, and what motivated you to become an entrepreneur.
I was born and brought up in Kottayam, did most of my studies in Kottayam. Right now I am settled in Cochin. I am a professionally qualified fashion, interior and jewelry designer. Regarding my entry to entrepreneurship, I didn't realize that I had become an entrepreneur until the media started featuring me in their entrepreneurial columns. I'm a totally accidental entrepreneur. I was in the process of finding solutions to several issues that was really nagging me. So I think that caught attention from a lot of people, and it was a very doable solution by a larger number of people, and it impacted a lot of lives. So I kind of automatically became a social entrepreneur since I kind of try to attach social causes in whatever I do.
It was quite interesting, ma'am. So we know Lakshmi Menon through Chekuti dolls. How the thought of Chekuti doll come to your mind or come to your way?
Regarding the origin of Chekuti, I think like every other Malayali, I was also very active in the rescue and relief operations during the floods in 2018. One day, one of my friend, Mr. Gopinath Parail, while he was visiting the weavers village in Chendamangalam, he found that there's a lot of fabric that was totally damaged and which was not fit to be used or sold by the society. So the secretary of the weaver society approached him saying that they were asked to burn the entire lot of fabric because they tried to wash it, chlorinate it, and they couldn't do anything about it. So at least to save that space, and it was all stinking, so they were asked to completely get rid of it. So when Gopi saw that, he thought of calling me up and informing this status, because I kind of love working with what others call as waste. So I asked him to get a few samples, and when I brought it home, I kind of washed it, bleached it, chlorinated it, but it was the same condition. I mean, there wasn't any thing that has, I felt that, that can save the cloth, because looks wise it was totally the same. But when I looked at the cloth, another thing that I was see was, I could just see a reflection of us on that fabric, because wherever we travel we could see stains, and in every heart there was a scar. That was the condition of a Malayali during those days. So I thought, why don't I make a miniature of a Malayali itself using those clothes, something that people will easily relate themselves to. So that is how the Chekuti doll was born. And we kind of took a deliberate attempt to highlight the defects of those dolls, by saying that, Chekuti has scars, Chekuti has stains, but Chekuti is each of us who survived the flood. And we positioned it in such a manner that Chekuti became a mascot of resilience, mascot of hope, things like that. So and the kind of the mode in which we operated was totally through crowdsourcing. So people who were looking for a platform through which they could also contribute to the rebuilding Kerala after the floods, this became an easiest and most doable avenue or activity for them to express their oneness, togetherness, and things like that. So that is how Chekuti became such a big hit and became a Kerala's most preferred doll.
Okay, we also came to know about a friendship campaign called Waves and Waves of Friendship. So ma'am, please explain what this campaign basically means.
If Chekuti was all about people who survived, friendship campaign was about people who saved us. 4,000 fishermen saved around 64,000 people in Kerala. They came from all sides of Kerala, and selflessly, how they were putting in their life in danger to save complete strangers. So I thought, something has to be done substantially to at least express the gratitude. So gratitude is the attitude of the friendship campaign. In that campaign, we have what we have done was through crowdfunding. We raised funds to insure the fishermen. We could, in a matter of 6 to 7 months, we could insure around 13,000 fishermen through that program. Like Chekuti, this became a platform through which people could express their gratitude to the great, people who saved them or their relatives, their loved ones. Being a designer, whenever I go to the when I was visiting the viewers societies in connection to the Chekuti project, the kind of sound that comes out from that handloom loom, it was so kind of mesmerizing to me. The beat, the rhythm in which the shuttle was moving from one side to the other in a handloom. I thought that those beats were actually the heartbeat of handloom. And I always used to think that that is a heartbeat of Chekuti also. So when we started this friendship campaign, when I looked at the shuttle which moves in that from left to right as a weft of a handloom, it was actually a miniature boat that the shuttle were actually designed in the form of a mini boat. So again, I could see some kind of a connection between the Chekuti fabric and the mini boats that actually has woven that fabric into something which Chekuti is made of. So I thought, there is an instant connection again between Chekuti and the friendship campaign. So that is how the Waves of Friendship came into being. So we started designing clothes based on this logo of friendship using the Chekuti fabric.
Here we know that we are going through a great pandemic, COVID-19. So you came up with the idea called Shaya. It is a bed roll, especially for COVID-19 patients. So explain us how this came to your mind, came to your way. How did you make it happen?
There are so many issues and challenges that is being faced by all of us during the pandemic. And one of the issues that we have recently come across was the amount of unsold fabric and other art materials that's been lying around in the artisans sector. So I've just launched a new campaign called Quilt India Movement 2020, wherein we say that we don't quit, we quilt. So the idea is we buy materials from the weavers and we cut it into small patches sort of. And each one, anybody who wants to become part of this Quilt India movement, they can purchase a small patch from us for ₹25. They can decorate it, they can design, stitch, embroider or whatever they want to that piece of fabric. and that becomes their certificate of participation. They can frame it and keep it at home, so that after many years, when your kids or grandchildren, when they ask you what this is all about, they can tell that this is a memorabilia from 2020, where we were facing such a we were living through such a dark time, and this is a way we have come up in our own limited capacity to revive the art and craft sector of India. So the entire money goes to the weavers, and the fund that is being generated extra from this initiative will go as a corpus fund in a platform called Creative Dignity, which is a national platform for supporting the art, craft and artisans and weavers in India. So that will be dispersed among people in the other field, like bell metal, pottery, or the puppetry, or the other artisans working in many other mediums.
Ma'am, actually we have heard about Quit India movement. We have studied it on history class and so on. So you came up with something interesting, something so catchy called Quilt India Movement 2020. So ma'am, please tell us more about this campaign.
Quilt India Movement 2020 is our latest, and this would become a social fabric of collective consciousness. So people who couldn't participate in Quit India movement, I think this is a similar one where we can come together and express our oneness and work towards a common goal, because art and craft is so needed in our lives. Whenever we say about craft or art, we think of maybe a jug or a painting on the wall. It is not actually. Right from the spoon and the mug that we take, for making coffee or tea in the morning, the dress that we wear, if you admire a building, when you see a building, you admire that. There's a lot of art and craft that has gone into each and every aspect of things that we see around us, and which makes our life much more, beautiful. So there's a huge need to do our bit to actually sustain this art and artisans sector altogether. So that is what Quilt India Movement 2020 is all about.
Ma'am, thank you for sharing your valuable time on this 88th Global Online Sivagiri THEERTHADANAM, and thank you for talking with us in this handicraft session. Ma'am, we wish you and your team all the very best for your upcoming projects, and may Sree Narayana Guru shower his blessings upon you and your team. Thank you.